Sumimasen, yokoso, and welcome to the Xbox Cloud Gaming Show with me, your host, Clive Illenden. Tonight, with Microsoft revealing that they missed Xbox Gamepass subscription target for the second year running, and by quite a margin. Phil Spencer admitting that it's been too long since Xbox had a major first-party exclusive, and the Xbox Games Pass may have to go up in price. All this and much, much more is what we're going to be discussing tonight. So buckle up, get ready with some questions and some thoughts, and let's get on with it. As ever, massive welcome to everybody here live tonight. Thank you very much for taking the time. Funny time for many people, of course, because the clocks went back here in Old Blighty at the weekend. So sorry for any confusion there. It's probably a completely different time than you're used to. And hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll all be back aligned again. But anyway, just putting that out there. The show's going to be a little bit different. There's going to be a bit of old school style here, a bit of me waxing and riffing on the big story of the week when it comes to Xbox and Games Pass in particular. Phil Spencer revealed quite a lot in an interview in the Wall Street Journal live tech event, and we'll be looking at that and breaking it down and going through some of those revelations, especially in the light of the fact that the recent Microsoft financial earnings, they revealed that Xbox Game Pass missed its subscription target for the second year in a row. And a number of media outlets have jumped on that bit of the story, as they ever do, because, hey, everybody loves an accident. Everybody loves a negative story. So they've jumped on that. So, hey, why not? I used it as my, my thumbnail for this. Why not? It's legit. But obviously, there's more depth to it. There's more granularity. Yeah, there's more detail. There's levels to this, as a certain person might say, yeah? And we're going to be looking at that. And I'd appreciate your thoughts and your input on, are gamers, here's some questions. Are gamers ready for a subscription all-you-can-eat model? Or, or a bit like cloud gaming, are hardcore gamers and gamers a bit Luddite, ironically enough, a bit stuck in the mud? And like the traditional way of buying games, owning games, and all of that. Are they ready for that subscription model? Are the targets bearing that out? Or are other factors involved in Xbox not meeting those targets? Has COVID had an impact? I think it has, and we'll discuss all of that. So anyway, get your thoughts going, get the cogs in your mind going. I'd love to see some questions and thoughts on all of those. We'll be discussing all of that. And, ladies and gentlemen, and quick note, there will be no Clive in the news studio today because it's his birthday. So he's had the day off today. So, yes, there'll be no live in the news studio, no news section today in the show. But we've got bigger things. We've got bigger meat to chew here. We've got bigger things to bite off and talk about. And that's what I want to focus on anyway. So we wish Clive a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Clive, and all of that. And anyway, as also, let me know what games you've been playing. I've been playing a few games. Well, one game in particular, which I'll come to a little later, but I'd love to know what games you've been playing, what platforms you've been playing. I've been experimenting a bit more on Boosteroid, just seeing some of the free games that are available, EA games that aren't on GeForce Now, eFootball, things like that they're out there, and Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone, of course, big, Activision Blizzard title. Phil Spencer talks about the future of that and whether it's coming to PlayStation. Basically, he's saying absolutely 100% it's coming to PlayStation. Don't worry about that. But yeah, played Warzone on Boostroid, all of that. Great experience. But anyway, let me know what games you've been playing, what platforms you've been playing, any questions about tonight's sort of big subject that we're going to get our teeth into, and all of that. And of course, hit the likes, because I like it and YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find great content like this. And it is great content, but dare I say, not enough people find it. So we've got to be interacting here. Hit those likes, put comments in, all of that. Really, really appreciate it, especially if you're not watching live. Put the comments in the comments section. Yeah, interaction is good. Let YouTube know that people like this kind of stuff, because we put a lot of work into it and all of that. Really appreciate it if you could do all of that. Share, like, the works, comments. You know what to do. Hey, and if you are new here, sumimasen, arigatou gozaimasu. Do me the great honor. Hit the subscribe button. Toggle that notification bell. And then you'll know when I go live with content like this, ladies and gentlemen. Should we dive into the chat first and see what you guys have been saying? And then I'm going to talk about my game of the year. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm going there. My game of the year. Yeah, 100%. Blew me away. It's become one of my all-time favorite games, and I'll be explaining why it's just such a great game. Anyway, more on that a little bit later. Let's dive into the chat. Say hello to you guys. See how you all are. The reliable Christopher Torres is listening. He's always listening. Thank you. He says, I subscribe to Xbox Gamepass. Been trying it for 1 week. So far, so good. I'm liking it. Absolutely. I've always been a massive fan of Xbox Games Pass. Before Xbox Game Pass, you had sort of Xbox Live Gold. And, every month you'd get like maybe 4 or 5 games. A bit like Stadia Pro. You'd get a handful of games. But there was never anything in there that really blew you away. There was never sort of really massive games. Some older massive games now and then. But nothing that really blew you away. But when they launched Game Pass, stop saying Games Pass, bad habit, Game Pass. When they launched Game Pass, they launched it with Sea of Thieves, which personally I absolutely loved. And at that time, I thought, actually, the price of Game Pass back then, it was about £8. I seem to remember, before they amalgamated it all and had Games Pass Ultimate, which is what they're pushing people towards. But that could be why the uptake's not quite there, because it's quite pricey. Back in the day, you could choose, because they didn't have the PC option. So you had Xbox Gold Live, Games Pass, and yeah, it was cheaper than the Ultimate at the moment. But anyway, the point is, they launched it with Sea of Thieves, which I thought was amazing. And I thought, well, you can either pay 50, 60 quid to buy Sea of Thieves or get Games Pass. And at that time, that was less than that for a year's subscription. In fact, they were doing 12 months subscription for £1 or something crazy like that back then to get people, signed up. So it was a no-brainer. And then they brought out Gears 5, which was great. So you had Sea of Thieves, and then a few months later you had like Gears 5, and there was a sort of a good, sort of every so often a good big AAA type game would come to it. And so I've always enjoyed that, and I having gone back to it a lot more now because of the demise of Stadia, I've really enjoyed some recent games. I've really enjoyed going back to Halo Infinite. I wanted to play it when it came out. I was so focused on Stadia, I never got round to it. Played Halo Infinite all the way through via the cloud, just to say how well it worked. Finished it. I haven't finished a game all the way through for a long time, not even on Stadia, for a long, long time. So I really enjoyed that experience. And I'll talk about it slightly more later. A Plague's Tale. Oh my God. I love that game. Love it. Love it. Love it. But there has been a lack, as Xbox, as Phil Spencer admits. Let's just show you this. It's been too long since Xbox had a major first-party exclusive, he says. And we'll come back to that later. That was on an interview he did on the Same Brain podcast with, what's her name? Always does iMac. Jenny. Oh, I can't remember now her name. Anyway, it'll come to me in a minute. But anyway, it was a really interesting interview he did with the two people that host the Same Brain as well. And so this was in addition to his Wall Street Journal interview, which was very, very revealing. And we'll come to that later. Oh, yeah, one thing I forgot to do while I'm here, of course, is just you all deserve an achievement, of course. Well done for watching the show live. Right. Jerry's there. Hello, Jerry. How are you? Z. Hello. Hi, Z. Suarez. Yeah, is there. Yeah, Clive is on the mic, but Clive is not in the news studio. He's out and about. Oh, I didn't notice that my little watermark. So I got distracted there. My watermark is exactly where my logo is. Oh, never mind. Hey, Huango, how are you? Albert, good to see you. xCloud is grainy for me, but PlayStation Plus is flawless in the cloud. Works flawless in the cloud. You see, Rudigs, that's the thing, I think, with cloud gaming. You hear so many people, some people say, GeForce doesn't work for me. Xbox, it's hopeless, doesn't work for me, but Stadia worked flawlessly. And all these kind of different, oh, no, it works fine for me. Even to the extreme, as one crazy person once said, that Xbox was perfect, Xbox Game Cloud was perfect, and Stadia was less than perfect where he played. So he was in the unique place in the world in which that scenario possibly could happen. Anyway, history. But yeah, and I think that's the issue ultimately with cloud gaming. There is that lack of consistency. But eventually, hopefully, everybody will be on a much more of a level, consumers will be on a much more of a level playing field. But we'll see. But I always think I'm lucky. The Stadia worked flawlessly for me, amazingly. xCloud works really well, except when it doesn't. And that's usually because something's going on in the house. It's just much more sensitive to fluctuations in the bandwidth than Stadia ever was. It's much more noticeable. But when it's fine, it's absolutely fine for me. Not an issue at all. And as I said, I played the whole of Halo Infinite and completed, oh my God, A Plague's Tale. That was tough. That was tough in places. Finished A Plague's Tale. Wonderful game. Completely in the cloud. So there you go. I hate to have to use the PlayStation controller. Oh, never mind. I will send, thank you there, Torres. Thank you for that. Don't play EA games on Boostroid. Now, I did see a tweet about this, but I have played, Rudigs, I have played Apex Legends only 2 days ago on Boosteroid. So, that's fine. I mean, maybe other games, I don't know, because it's free to play. That may be a difference. I don't know, but I've not had any issues. Touch wood. Horizon, whoa, there we are. Horizon Forbidden West on PS5, on PS Cloud, ooh, and Fortnite, Destiny 2 on GFN. I really must give GFN another go, but, at the moment, there's a limit to how many games you can play. And at the moment, my boots are filled with Games Pass stuff, and then the odd thing on Boostroid, like free to play, that I might want to kind of dive into now and then. After Plague's Tale, which I will come to, I needed a palate cleanser, something less brain taxing, you know, some more kind of simple shooty bang bang, which I quite enjoy. I played Crossfire. I played the Crossfire multiplayer game. And can I say this in public? I don't know. I think it plays better. I'm not saying it is better. I think it plays better. And I'm playing this in the cloud. I think it plays better than Rainbow Six. I know Rainbow Six is an older game, but I picked it up. I hadn't played it. I had played it a lot. I played the demo of Crossfire very briefly when it came out a while ago. So I wasn't sure what I was doing. I just picked it up, started playing it. And oh my God, I don't get kills in PvP. I did all right for my first go. Like I was sort of mid-table of kills. I couldn't believe it. And that was because the aiming and the play style and the weight of everything, the console control, everything just seemed to be right. And this was in the cloud. So then I started playing the campaign, Catalyst. It's called Crossfire X Catalyst. You know, it's very derivative, you know, but you know, it's good fun. It's not going to win any awards, but it's a lot of fun. So there we go. Hey Roger, how are ya? Yoshida. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you very much. Plague Tale, wonderful game, absolutely. Oh, I really looked at the requirements and stated it was needed or perhaps recommended. I'll check it out. I can use the app, PS Apps window app, I mean. Right. Gamerhaven89, how are you? Game Pass is good. I like how it's a mix of different genres and not just AAA titles. It's got some very good indie games. Exactly. This is the thing I quite like about subscription models. It's what I liked about the Stadia Pro library, is that every month I knew I'd get a selection of games. And no, they weren't all AAA games. In fact, very rarely AAA games in Stadia Pro. But it made you explore games that perhaps you would not considered or experienced, and in doing so you discovered some wonderful gems. So I think with any subscription, just like with Netflix or anything like that, you want a variety. You know, I've discovered amazing Korean dramas. I'm not just talking Squid Game. Is it the Squid Game? No, lots of other Korean dramas. Really good, exciting stuff. Weird documentaries, you know, plus all the other normal stuff that, you know, you kind of you expect. But I like a subscription model because of these things, the different genres that you can explore. You download the PS app on your Windows PC. That's how you play. Okay, I should try PS Cloud. I've not really tried it. Hey, Lo-Fi, how are you? Yeah, I did have an experience with xCloud, like when I was, ironically enough, when I was demonstrating it to somebody. That was the time it took ages to load. If I'm waiting for more than, I don't know, 30 seconds, which is quite a long time, doesn't sound long, but when you wait actual 30 seconds, I usually just come out of it and start again. Been playing Games Pass, loving it so far. Yeah. But so here's a question, Lo-Fi Monk, and a question to other people in the chat. If Phil Spencer has hinted that prices are going to have to go up. Prices are going up everywhere in the world. You know, this is just, PlayStation increased their prices when Xbox, on their consoles, when Xbox didn't. But Xbox have said, Phil Spencer has said, they can't maintain that. And the same with Games Pass. Netflix has gone up. And they've tried to explore other ways of getting that price down. So if it went up, would you still continue to subscribe? What's too much? All of that. Gamerhaven, loved the first Plague Tale. Never played it, although I remember Rock did mention ages and ages ago that he really enjoyed Plague Tale. This is like nearly 2 years ago, 18 months ago at least. So I always remembered that. But okay, let's just talk before I go through all the chat. Let's get through the chat and then I'll talk about Plague Tale. Hey, Roly Lahala. How are you, sir? I've been playing Persona 5. What's it like? Oh, it works great, he says. Okay. Maybe I should dip into it. Caseball. Evening. How are you? Requiem is awesome. Been playing Innocence again. Yeah, see, I worry about starting Innocence because I don't know whether it will be, whether I'll be disappointed. Is it as good? Is it different in some way? I really love Requiem. Why is it that Microsoft... here we are. Why is it that Microsoft felt they needed to separate Games Pass from the main Xbox app? Do you think all the services will be under one app eventually? I hope so. It does get complicated. On my phone, sometimes I press the wrong bloody app. Because it doesn't say it on the app. It's just a it's just an icon, a picture. And, oh no, I've gone into the wrong one. So that is annoying. You want it just to function as a single app. And probably it makes sense to merge it. So I agree. Hey, IOG, how are you? I did 1 month of Games Pass when Stadia closed. That ended day. Novelty wore off quickly. I won't renew for now. I purchased The Witcher 3, downloaded, and that's it for now. And that's it. I think, that's the thing about subscription models and gamers. Some gamers just love, say, 3 or 4 games. Yeah, I don't know, FIFA 23, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. Yeah. So a subscription model doesn't necessarily suit them. Whereas other gamers, I think, as mentioned before, like to explore, the opportunities and different types of games. I enjoy the xCloud in the part, as I do think the library is great to play with friends. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. Gamerhaven says with cloud streaming is that it's still new, so there'll be problems that hopefully will be sorted out soon. I mean, I run it just fine at the moment, but my old house, I couldn't run it at all. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. You ask different people, you'll get a different response. Whereas if you ask somebody on a console, what was your experience like? They're basically all going to say the same, aren't they? I mean, in terms of, did it play? Did it function? Yeah. Whereas, with cloud streaming, inevitably you will get those, oh, it's amazing, which it was for me. Stadia, still, in fact, if anything now, I think we realize how brilliant Stadia was in terms of its stream and the tech, having to sort of explore other opportunities. Other things have good things that are good about it, but things that are less good about it. Of which, speaking about here, GFN38 is the ultimate cloud platform, says Caseball. Play Requiem on the 3860 FPS, then try it on xCloud. Different experience. I can't now, can I? But I can imagine. I was thinking about that. But this whole 30 frames per second, I mean, because I hadn't tasted, it's like once you've had silk, cotton will never do. If you hadn't told me it was 30 frames per second, I wasn't even looking. What I was looking at is how wonderful the game looked. How brilliant the characterization was, the acting, the game design, the gameplay, every aspect of it, just the music, the story, everything. So FPS didn't really matter to me. In fact, I read an article recently, it was a YouTube video, about, what's it called? Anyway, the game, it's a Viking game. It's not Assassin's Creed Viking. So the woman's got some, has mental health issues in it. What's it called? Oh, my brain's gone dead. Anyway, the point is, it's this sort of historical sort of Viking. Anyways, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, they said that they were experimenting with 21 frames per second because that's the way our brains are programmed to kind of view films. Yeah, we see things smoother when we're watching a film in 24 frames per second. So they were experimenting with different lenses. I mean, virtual lenses, but they actually got proper film camera lenses, and they were experimenting with the effects and stuff like that, try to recreate those effects. The bokeh, as it's called, which is that kind of out of focus background, and all of that kind of stuff. and considering 24 frames per second to give it a filmic look. And I kind of thought, yeah, I've never thought about that. Like, people obsessed with, like, oh, it's got to be 60 frames per second. And yeah, if you're playing Call of Duty Warzone, PvP, or Fortnite, then yeah, probably, if you're really competitive about it. But if it's a strong narrative story giving you like a filmic experience, maybe a filmic look in 24 frames per second for the cutscene bits at least might be an interesting effect. So there we go. Rudigs, I feel as I cannot compete with the younger generation reflexes on the gamepad when it comes to... Oh, trust me, no. I played Apex Legend and I was all right when I played it. No, I wasn't. I was terrible. But at least I got some kills when I played it on console. I played it on PC via Boosteroid, like I mentioned earlier. And I had to sign in my sort of a new account for EA because I hadn't like linked my Xbox EA account to it. So I started as a noob. And I thought, well, that's all right. I'll get match made with noobs and at least I'll be all right. No. I kept dying. I used to be all right on the console. Different league, the old PC game, isn't it? Amnor finally comes in, and for once, Amnor, you're correct. It's taken nearly 3 years, Amnor, but you know, I think you deserve a special prize. Yeah, for watching. Well, welcome, Amnor. How are you? Anyway. Suarez, I wonder if COVID caused an inflation in the gaming industry, which wouldn't have happened at the same extent. This raised expectations, and now the tough economy is to blame for the downturn in line with it. Yes, well, this is one of the factors, I think, and I think you're right, and we'll discuss it. But COVID has had an impact, and Phil Spencer mentioned this, and the lack of, the impact on game development. No doubt, obviously, the impact on chip prices. Supply, PlayStation has suffered from this. Xbox has suffered from it. The Xbox Series X has suffered from it. All of this has had an impact. And sometimes that impact is an immediate impact, like the supply chain, getting, PlayStation 5s out, launching them. There was a shortage that, directly because of the supply chain COVID situations. But then development gets knocked on. But you don't really see the effect of that until games that are meant to be delivering now were impacted 2 years ago, 18 months ago. And Phil Spencer admits in an interview that they've sort of got through what they call the COVID impact element of it. Now they seem to be on track. So 2023 is looking very good. But beware promises about the future. We've all been burnt on that one. But he's saying that he expects the rollout for 2023 in terms of first-party titles on Xbox and stuff like that to be much, much better. Moonlight was good on Stadia. Sekiro, I struggle with Sekiro. But it looked beautiful. It did look beautiful on Stadia. PlayStation Year to Cloud is cheaper than Stadia. Microsoft should offer a year upfront. Yeah, that would be good. I'd like that. Oh, that's interesting. Look. Yeah, let's remove those and report. We don't want that junk. There we, well. I don't have a problem with going up, as most streaming platforms have gone up like Netflix, as long as it didn't shoot up past £25 a month. Yeah, exactly. It's about what that balance is ultimately, isn't it? Phil is changing Xbox market strategy because now it's not Stadia. He said now people buy an Xbox if you want to play Games Pass. Yeah, mate, I mentioned it last week, I think, on the show, or in terms of cloud gaming, with the demise of Stadia, not only has it demonstrated that, there's your data point. The market's not ready for it. I know Google Stadia, arguably Google messed up, on how they delivered it and what happened and not supporting it and all of that. But the big data point out of it is, maybe the market's not ready for it. And, Xbox are looking at that, and although they've said they're still investing heavily in developing cloud. He mentions it in the interview, and we'll come to that, and I'll show you the interview where he says it. But maybe they just, could think, to take the pressure off a bit and take their time on it a bit more. 1 month ago, Phil was planning to develop a Chromebox for Xbox, a Chromecast for Xbox. Yeah, and now now they've cancelled it, which personally to me makes sense. I mean, it would have been cool, but I'll come to let's think about it. The thing about a Chromecast is it wasn't just for Stadia, was it? The Chromecast was a way of turning a dumb TV into a smart TV, so you could have all your kind of smart TV apps on it. Your Netflix, your Amazon Prime, your Disney Plus, your BBC iPlayer, your Stadia, your GeForce Now. You can have all these apps on your Chromecast. So it was a device. It was a hardware device for delivering a variety of entertainment apps to your smart TV. The same with Fire Stick. Okay, it has Luna on it if you're in the US, but it's not. The Fire Stick wasn't created specifically for Luna. Chromecast wasn't created specifically for Stadia. So it seemed odd to me that Xbox trying to create a dongle specifically for Xbox cloud gaming. Now, obviously they'd have to bundle other apps with it, like, you can also play Netflix, you could also, watch Amazon Prime and Disney Plus and all of that. But then it means Xbox are then competing with hardware devices outside their realm of expertise, like the Amazon Fire Stick or the Chromecast. Yeah? Wonder what that was then. It's my daughter getting a drink. So it seems odd. That's not their market, is it? It would make more sense to me to develop an app like they have on the Samsung Gaming Hub and roll that out from TVs from now, all modern TVs. You can't. There's a limit to how far you can go back with models of TVs, but as models of TV improve, the Stadia app on the LG, it looked amazing, Stadia, on my big 4K screen via the LG Web OS app. It makes more sense to me, to Xbox, to develop apps. Yeah, specific smart TV apps rather than an extra piece of hardware. But now they don't have to, I guess, Hey, Jerome, how are you? Happy Halloween, indeed. Indeed. Had nice sushi tonight. An incredible sushi restaurant. I absolutely love it. Anyway, I could never just play certain titles. Only I love to play different games and have variations, of course. Yeah, the 3080 RTX is the most beautiful experience. Yeah, a way to play in the cloud and most expensive. Exactly. For me, it's very expensive. And B... I'm not a PC. I hate logging into things. Maybe I need to revisit and try a bit, but I have the same problem in Boosteroid, having to kind of, got to sign into your Steam account. Well, Boosteroid is even worse because you have more variety of PC libraries than GeForce Now does. The spread, you get one game, and you might have bought it. You could have bought it on 2 different libraries on Boosteroid. Yeah, so signing into my Steam account every time I want to play a certain game. Oh, what's it on? Is it my Origin account? Oh, no. Is it my Epic account? All this kind of... Now, if you're used to playing PC games and having PC games across various PC libraries, then, hey, that's fine. Yeah? But that's why I've always been a console player. Just plug and play, man. But maybe I need to go back and give it another go. Thank you. Hellblade, it just slipped my mind. Fortunately, my charades did the job. Yeah, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, exactly. They are experimenting to give it a filmic look and looking at maybe doing 24 frames per second to match the film rate, the way that we view our mind. Remember, like, Peter Jackson brought out a 60 frames per second Lord of the Rings, and people were like, oh my God, this looks terrible. And yet it was at 60 frames per second. It's because our brains are tuned in to watch filmic experiences in 24 frames per second. And to see it in 60 frames per second, it looks kind of too real. That makes sense. It loses some of that filmic quality. But Hellblade, even the old generation Hellblade on the Xbox One, when I played it on Xbox One X, not the Series X, it looked amazing. I mean, that developer really hammers the look. With Luna, I miss Stadia less and less each day. There we go. Exactly. Where's my money, Google? I reckon lack of competition from Stadia is allowing Microsoft to take it more slowly. I agree. xCloud dongle will be competing with the Xbox Series S. Exactly. I think you're right there. There's a very good point, Gandhara. Very good point. I'm tempted to get another Xbox Series S for downstairs because I'm just playing on my old Xbox One S, because I'm just using it for the cloud. But yeah. But, the price point is a good price point. People say, it's interesting. I had this thought because I'd been seeing, people saying, the Xbox Series S is holding back game development. No, it's not. If you think about it, in my opinion, it's not. If you think about it. What the Xbox Series S is doing is giving an entry point to people into console ownership. Yeah, not everybody. Like in our bubble, I've got like a £2,000 gaming PC, or I've just spent £500 on a PlayStation 5, or £500 on my Xbox Series X. A casual gamer is not going to go, I'm just going to spend 500 quid for something I like to do casual. No. But a $250 price point is a sweet spot. And Xbox know this, and that's how they're increasing their player base. So rather than holding back, not everybody has, 120 frames, hertz screens, especially TVs. My LG is 120 hertz, but that's a newer telly, and it's built specifically for gaming. Gaming is a heavy focus of the LG, but most people with consoles are playing on a 4K TV, 60 frames per second, 60 hertz. And then another load of that section of that market are kids in their bedroom with probably a second-hand TV and stuff. So just because you're a hardcore gamer with 165 hertz 4K screen monitor, and I must have PlayStation 5 and a $3,000 PC, the average gamer, when it's averaged out, doesn't have that level of kit. So you've got to make games and you've got to make consoles at a price that, and a good entry price. And that's what Series S. So if anything, it's opening up the development world to new gamers. That's my theory anyway. I'd love to get my hands on Luna. I'm curious about Luna. And jack the price up of their service. Hey Ray, how are you? When I used GFN, I signed into Steam and Epic perhaps 3 times, and it never asked again. This is what I'm curious about, Torres. So does it remember it? Okay, Suarez is saying this as well. See, this is why I need to try again. This is what happens when you have an experience. This is why your first experience of a platform can completely frame your perspective on that platform going forward. So, yeah. Hey, TJ0410. How are you? Good to see you. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Plague's Tale blew me away. The story is really good, but you need to be bought in, or to have to be sold. For the story to be sold to you, you need good characters. The characters are really interesting. They've got depth. They're fun. The characters have to be well acted. They're well acted. Even little Hugo. I know people find Hugo annoying, but I didn't find him annoying. It fitted with the story. The character, maybe a little bit, but he's a little kid with a disease. Like, controls rats and commits mass murder. Like, there's depth to it. But and then the world Yeah, the presentation of the world, it felt alive to a certain degree, this open world. When you sort of first go to the marketplace and you walk around the marketplace and there's people there and stuff like that. So you've got good story, good characterization, good acting, great music, great setting. And then you've got the gameplay itself, right? The game design, really clever. A good mix of kind of stealth, shooting, the way you deal with combat with the soldiers. Not all soldiers are built equally. Yeah, you need to select the right kind of weapon to disarm or kill if that's what you're choosing to do. Again, the variety of options, how you kind of get rid of soldiers or whatever like that. That mechanic is really interesting. And it made for some really frustrating and difficult elements. I think it was around chapter 15 or whatever, I can't remember level. Towards the end, there was a couple of levels, maybe 2 or 3, quite in quick succession, which were really difficult. And there was one particular level, oh my God, I spent hours on it. Hours. Repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I tell you, us gamers are mad. Yeah. They say the definition of insanity, yeah, is repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. That's exactly what we do when we get to a boss level in any game. We just repeat and repeat and repeat and hope this time we get a little bit further. This time, all right, I know, okay, I think I know what to do this time. Repeat, start again, and just edge towards. No, you're learning each time. Oh, I nearly did it. And then you go back to the beginning and, but I was so determined. I 3-4 hours on one level, is that no, surely not. I reckon it was so difficult. But anyway, I loved the game. When I finished, it was emotional. And it was, so the point I'm making, a bit like Red Dead Redemption 2 for me, brilliant acting, brilliant story, brilliant characters, brilliant setting that felt alive, great gameplay that kind of made you feel empowered in moments, variety of gameplay. That's what I liked about Plague's Tale, the variety. There's bits where it's just run away, and you're running away in sort of first person. And then it swaps to the camera in front of you. So you're sort of, in a way, you're like the camera person running backwards, which is like, and it does that. Then there's that whole Lara Croft kind of puzzle element as well. Oh yeah, move that block there, climb up there. Or if I open that latch and then pull that, I like that bit. And then there's the shooty bit, and then there's stealthy bit. And yeah, all of that combined together made it so that the whole was greater than some of their parts. It made me realize story narrative driven games like this are the games I really enjoy. I enjoyed all the Tomb Raider games for the same reason. I kind of felt for poor Lara Croft. Every time there's one game, I forget which one it is, but every time she's going down some rapids, and if you don't, and you have to sort of move it left to the right to avoid some, old debris and shrapnel and metal. And if you don't, she gets impaled on a piece of metal. And every time I failed, I felt it. Oh, bless. I just thought, oh, this poor woman is going through hell. I'm talking about, oh my God, what a badass. Amicia. Yeah? What a great character Amicia from Plague's Tale is. A real badass character. Really liked her. Anyway, there you go. Hey, Radu M, how are you? Good to see you. Crow, lovely to see you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the chitter-chat. That's all my games I've been playing. Remember to hit the likes and all of that. Subscribe if you're new, just in case you've forgotten. Toggle the notification bell. Let us, ladies and gentlemen, go to let's just start off with this then. So this is, this is what got this is your thumbnail, yeah? This is what inspired the thumbnail. Do I believe Xbox Game Pass is failing? That's why I put question mark. It's a question, yeah? Personally, no, right? Let's, I know the thumbnail's a bit clickbaity, but look, Microsoft misses Xbox Game Pass growth target for second year running. That's the headline, isn't it? That's the headline. That's the headline that will get the attention that people want. Yeah, there's loads of other news, loads of other revelations and all of that. But still over 25 million subscribers. Not bad, really. 25 million subscribers. Maybe their targets were just too high. So anyway, this was all revealed. Microsoft has missed its growth target for Xbox Game Pass for the second year in a row. Now, this is the interesting bit here. Earlier this week, the company shared its financial results, including a hardware revenue growth of 13%. So revenues increased by 13%. PC Games Pass subscriptions increasing by 159% year on year. Now, that's less surprising because the PC Game Pass subscription is a newish thing, and they're just sort of some nice big games coming to that. But here, Microsoft targeted a 73% growth for Games Pass for its fiscal year ending 30th of June 22. Instead, it just managed 28%. A 73% growth rate for Games Pass is quite ambitious. So they probably predicated it on a number of major titles coming to Games Pass. So obviously within this time frame, we would have had Halo Infinite. But Starfield got delayed. Redfall, I think, got delayed. So some major titles. Some performed, some didn't perform, and some have missed their targets. Didn't arrive. So I think their target growth was on the assumption, all things being equal, that some big third party and first party, exclusive games would be coming to Games Pass. But because of development issues and delays, they didn't. That's probably why they missed that 73% growth, because it seems to me very ambitious. The previous fiscal year had a target of 48% growth, of which they only managed 38%, which is, closer. So they missed their 48% growth. And then in addition to that, they're expecting a 73% growth. So quite ambitious. And I think that ambition is clear by the fact that they've entered into the Activision Blizzard deal to supply that chain. They've got to have a chain of titles, just like Netflix. Got to have those big titles landing at least every quarter or so. They stagger them through the year to get that subscription bump. They know some people will stop, will binge watch it, stop subscribing, but the majority of people just forget or just carry on. But in order to maintain that subscriber growth, you need to be delivering a big title, preferably exclusive perhaps, maybe every quarter or something, which is, I think, the plan was for Xbox Game Pass to do that in 2022. But because of significant development delays, COVID impact, other impacts, who knows, they haven't been able to do that. So that may be why, Halo didn't maybe have the impact they thought it would, is why they maybe missed that growth. However, that's not to say it's not profitable. Games Pass is profitable despite declining growth. He says mainly because at some point you've reached everybody on console that wants to subscribe. They think they've reached the saturation point. That's the key thing. So that was the headline. But if we look in more detail, so as I said, Phil Spencer disclosed a number of interesting facts here. So this was at the protocol to do a great summary I had all the different, stuff. I got links with the Wall Street Journal tech here. But I thought, you know what, actually, Protocol's done my job for me. I could just read from here. Seems to work. But they've done a great job summarizing all the key points from what Phil Spencer had to say. He disclosed that Games Pass is in fact profitable and accounts for almost 15% of the Xbox business content, which would give Game Pass annual revenue around 1.9 million. So a figure of about 1.9 billion. A figure of around about 2 billion was mentioned by CEO of Microsoft a few months ago in terms of Game Pass. So that makes sense. Games Pass as an overall part of our content and services revenue is probably 15%. I don't think it's bigger than that. I think the overall revenue grows, so 15% of a bigger number. So what he's saying is that 15% remains constant, and as the overall profit of games of Xbox increases, the actual revenue amount increases relative to that 15%. So, if they make, 100 billion, it's not that, so they make 50 billion in 1 year, and they're getting 7.5 billion from Games Pass. In fact, we could do the maths, couldn't we? They're getting, I can't be bothered to do the maths. Let's say 10 billion, right? Just easy maths. So they're getting 1.5 billion from Games Pass. And then next year they do 20 billion. That means they're getting 3 billion from Games Pass. Whatever the math. But you know what I mean? So the point is that 15% goes up relative to their profit. That's what he's saying. Spencer's tempered his language around Games Pass, clarifying more recently that while Microsoft would like an Xbox app on every device, that's what I'm saying, create those smart TV apps, it will also be more realistic. It's also more realistically, they need to rely on diverse revenue streams. In other words, it's not putting all its eggs in the Games Pass basket. So this is the key thing. They know the Games Pass subscription model is 15% of their overall business. They set an aggressive target in 2021 and they fell short by 10%. They set an even more aggressive target of 73% and they fell even further short. So I think they know that actually, in terms of the profit and the revenue for the company, 15% is probably where it's at. And it's not necessarily worth putting all your money in that. Although arguably Activision Blizzard, in fact, the Activision Blizzard deal, everybody's focused on Call of Duty. They've made it very clear that mobile gaming and the fact that Activision Blizzard has the mobile game company King, that has all Candy Crush and all of that, they want to have their own mobile gaming store, app store, because they see another major revenue source. So that's part of what Activision Blizzard deal is all about. It's about giving them a major kind of doorway into the world of mobile gaming. But anyway, Spencer says Game Pass growth is slowing on console, mainly because at some point you've reached everybody on console who wants to subscribe. Exactly. There's a finite amount of consoles out there. And if you're relying on all those people to subscribe, the only way to get more subscribers is to sell more consoles. Yeah. So if they've think they've reached saturation point, they need to be able to reach through other people. And on prices, Spencer said Microsoft is keeping them at current levels through the holiday season, but that it expects it'll have to raise console game and subscription prices. I think this is inevitability. We've seen PlayStation 5 raise the price of the consoles because of chip shortages, supply, demand, all of that, distribution issues. It's all had an impact. The world, all the chips, all the tech stock has taken a dive. Apple has taken a dive. Google has taken a dive. Microsoft, you know, prices have been impacted. They're feeling it. The techs, you know, because of the impact of the world economy. So, yeah, price of bread is going up. Price of console and Games Pass is going up. We've held our price on console. We've held our price on games. So games, you know, PlayStation 5 said, right, all our exclusive, you know, next-gen games, PlayStation 5, they're going to be $70. And Xbox have tried to hold back on that, but they're saying, no, we're going to have to go that. Now, arguably, in this initial current generation where we don't really get the full benefit of the current gen games, it's a bit hard to justify $70. But next year, maybe Starfield, if the games start really utilizing the hardware, maybe they can justify a bit more. Or maybe it's just a fact of life. Prices go up and we're going to have to face it. I do think at some point we'll have to raise some prices on certain things. So here it is mentioned that the opportunity is really about mobile for us. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to go over here to the chat bit. Really interesting kind of thoughts there. And I think, you know, it's interesting that they're not putting all their eggs into Games Pass, which equally means they're not putting all their eggs in Xbox cloud gaming. They're still pursuing it. It's still an important strategy, but they realize it's important for them to grow revenue from different sources. Mobile gaming is one. The Activision Blizzard deal, being able to kind of supply the chain of supply of games is another one. The fact that they made it very clear that Call of Duty will be multi-platform, will definitely be on PlayStation. They're holding anything back, just like Minecraft. Yeah, because it does gangbusters on PlayStation. So why wouldn't they want to sell that game on there? Makes a lot of sense. They've also seen massive growth in the Games Pass PC element. So they realize that actually there's a real strong demand for PC gamers for PC games. Quelle surprise. And so they really want to develop out their Microsoft PC game store, like an Epic store. And then develop markets like, you know, Latin America, Southeast Asia, where mobile represents access to a wider audience who don't have the ability to buy console or PC or don't have a stable bandwidth. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting times. Is Games Pass failing? No, not at all. As somebody put in my comments a lot earlier, it's one of the best value in gaming. And even in a price increase, everything else is increasing relative to it. I still think it's going to be good value as long as it doesn't go up too much. Whether they split out, I mean, they try to push everybody to Ultimate Games Pass, but that means, you know, so that you can also play games that come just to PC via Games Pass, but not everybody wants to do that. But it can be a bit complicated to have different price models. So I understand why they have the Ultimate Games Pass, but maybe splitting out the price model again, I don't know, could be an answer. Anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just quickly play you a quick interview I wanted to share with you where he admits. Where's my little... Bear with me while I just find my... I can't find the bloody thing now. Ah, yeah, sorry, people.
No, one thing we've definitely heard loud and clear is it's been too long since we've shipped kind of what
Bloody ads.
What people would say is a big first-party game. We can have our excuses on COVID and other things, but in the end, I know people invest in our platform and they want to have great games. We're excited about 2023. And we've talked about games that are coming, and those games are tracking well. We're kind of out of what COVID did to the production schedule. And as an industry, I think we have fewer games this holiday than we've had in a while when you just think about the launches. You mentioned Call of Duty's coming, God of War's coming, which is great. Nintendo's had a good year. But I'd say in general, we've been a little light. But I look at 2023, and there's a great lineup of games coming that I'm excited about. Getting our first real Xbox first-party games out of Bethesda, having them ship with Redfall and Starfield will be a lot of fun. As I mentioned, we're doing a lot more work on PC because I think PC is important. We have a big update to our Xbox app that's actually coming in a couple weeks, and we've been constantly working, taking the feedback. We're investing more and more in stuff we're doing on cloud to enable people to play games where they can, wherever they want to go play. The partnerships have been interesting. Logitech just shipped a device. Razer just shipped a new device. We did our Samsung TV app, and I'm saying we're just going to continue focus on bringing great games to more people and giving them choice and value in where they want to go play. Longer term, we're all in. We're thinking about new hardware. We're thinking about new styles of games, new partnerships, new first-party things that we can go do.
Anyway, let's get my glasses. Anyway, there you go. I just wanted to share that, and I just thought it was really interesting. Definitely check out Same Brain. It's Same Brain podcast. Check out the YouTube video. Really good interview, really relaxed, and just very revelatory in terms of him saying about the future. But there he's saying 2023 is looking good. Absolutely admitting that across the game industry, and I think we've all felt it, there has felt a real lack of big AAA games this year. I mean, I've sort of, noticed it. I'm sure there used to be, much more regular big event moments, in the gaming industry and game release schedules over a year. And it has seemed like, especially coming into the end of the year. But anyway, there you go. Let me know what you think on all of that. I've been ranting and raving for an hour or so now, and I know Four Scars Gaming has got a great live stream on as now. And if you stay tuned to this, it should redirect you directly to Four Scars Gaming. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I might do some more work and do on this and more another video on this. But anyway, I really appreciate everybody who was here tonight. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being an incredible audience. Thanks for joining in the chat. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to your chat or your comment today. Trying to cram a lot in the hour. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And let's do it all again, same time. And remember, we put the clocks back here in the UK. Same time, same place next week. See you and thank you.